Hi everyone. Long time in coming, and I thought today I'm going to prepare a video and on where I'm going to show you a passage, and we're going to use this passage and transform this into an HTML page. I was also thinking what I would call this video. I thought like HTML for technical writing or technical writers would be apt. So without much without any more delay, let's start off. And by the way, my name is Rajdeep Gupta, and I am the managing director with Blue Dots Consultancy Services. So if you wish to require any training requirement or recruitment requirement, please get in touch with us at training@bluedotsconsultancy.com or visit bluedotsconsultancy.com. You will get our contact details over there. So we'll start off, and first of all, I'll share the page. Just give me a sec. All right then. So as you can see, what I did was I picked up, this is a Word document, and I picked up some content. As you can see, getting started with version control. And what we are going to do is we are going to use this content and transform this into an HTML page. Obviously, in my previous video, I spoke about the HTML tags and all that. And I thought like, let's use an HTML application. Let's use one of the HTML editors to get it done. So we need an HTML editor. So I could do this in Microsoft Word document itself, but I thought like better if we do it in HTML editor itself. So the one that I'm going to use is Notepad++. You can download that for free. Or if you don't want to download Notepad++, you can go with Notepad, but I suggest, you don't take much of your time and you can probably use Notepad++. Now I open a new document with Notepad++. I use this for any sort of scripting thing that I need to use, whether it's JavaScript or JSON, HTML, XML, you name it. Fantastic tool. First thing first is I am going to copy paste the content that I have here. Actually, I've got a couple of pages, but I thought like I'll keep the video short, not have too long. So I'm just going to pick up this content. So here, maybe next week I'll release one more video. So we come over here and I'm going to paste this content over here directly. So as you can see, this is raw content or what we call plain text content that I have put. First thing first is we're going to start working on this and we're going to transform this into an HTML page. I am going to save this. And before I do that, save this content. If you see here, this should be my HTML program that I'm going to write it. So first thing first is if this is the title I want, title means on a web page on the top, you get a title, right? So we want to have a title. We also want to have couple of body text content. So we want to use paragraphs and all that sort of a thing over here. So how do we get this? So first thing first is any kind of a file that you're working on, you need to have a root element. And for that matter, what we need to do is we need to actually place instead of doc type HTML, I'm going to have first of all an opening tag of HTML and everything is going to be inside this HTML. So opening tag and I close it HTML thing. Remember, white spaces are truncated, so it doesn't matter. So this spacing thing in HTML, any spacing that you have, I mean to say the extra spacing part that we are talking about does not count. So all good for me then. Now what I do here in this case, first and foremost thing is with stuff, this particular thing, I'm going to just go and save this file. So I go and do a saving here. So I open it up particular stuff here for that matter. I'm going to save it in one of my students folder. I'm going to call this version control. And just for your, so we're going to call it version control all in lowercase. And I'm going to tell the browser that this is an HTML page. So .html. That's like the default extension. Don't forget it, .html. And saving it as a normal txt file. It's a plain text file. So version control.html, and we save it. Once I saved it, automatically you see Notepad Plus identifies that this is an HTML program, and you can see that immediately the opening or the root element is identified with blue text, and you have an opening tag and you have a closing tag. You can collapse it and you see the entire thing. So basically the entire program that we are working on is going to come under the HTML file for that matter, or an HTML program. Now, first thing first is, as I told you, we want to have getting started with version control as our title. We can also have it as a heading one. So what we'll do is that we'll call it a version control. So first and foremost thing is we need to have something after the HTML. We need to have a header. So I give a little space and I write here head. So once I write head, I give space. Then inside that, I create a child element or a nested element that we have called title. Now under the title, you give the element control. I'm going to call it version control. You may change it later. So opening tag, you need to close it. So end tag for title. You are already aware of all this. So you have an opening, you have a closing tag of title. A lot of technical writers, when they work on projects, when they work on HTML editors, or you get a chance to work on projects which may require you directly to work on HTML editor. And these days, a lot of companies want technical writers to know scripting or to do scripting. In this age of AI, the more you know, you're not only doing content development, you should be doing a bit of scripting, you should know UI, UX, should be doing usability testing. I guess what we are looking at is those days where you were only doing content development projects, those days are gone. So here we have header title. Now you close this title here for that matter. And how do you do this? You go here and you close it. So you have the header element over here, close it. Now after the header element, we sort of like start with the body part of it, which is the main important content or the visible part of the content that gets highlighted. So body. So inside the body, first thing is that I will have a paragraph. So paragraph is represented by the para element. And I made a quick mistake here. Before I give the para element, I'll give a heading one, which is represented by H1. And let's have getting started with version control as my heading one. Now, you need to go here and put an H1 here also. Very important. So I pasted over here. Now I'm going to have a paragraph element here, starting with P, and then put some content over here. So version control is an important part, this blah, 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 and maintain blah, blah. So I can also do a word wrap, which will probably stop me from doing horizontal scrolling. So I go to view menu. On the view menu, click word wrap. Yep, it takes care of it to different version of file. Now there is an extra line in the paragraph. So either I put it this, or you can give a break, BR element over here. So let's give it a break element here. Let it come in this particular thing you've written over here. Now, if you want, some of this particular one of the content or somewhere out here, let's say version control system like Git, and you want to make it bold. So let's use a B element over here, and let's close this B element over here from here. So it's a B element here. So done. After this is probably, let's put it H2 here. And by the way, don't forget, you need to close the para element. So I close it here, para. Remember, I've used only one paragraph, so I've closed it here. Then we go after this heading one element, we'll have something called the heading two. So H2 element, part of it. Again, there is a question mark, so sometimes considered as a special character. We close the H2 part of it. After this, version control. So you will have a paragraph over here. All right. Version control provides several advantages. And what you can see here, there is a bulleted list that's been given over here. Intentionally, I kept it because then it makes a lot of sense for us to see how it looks like in MS Word. So there is a version control here, this thing, particular stuff here. So whenever you are introducing a bulleted list, we use something called ordered list, or sorry, unordered list for that. A bulleted list is used when you are talking about content related stuff for that matter. When you have any at that point, uh, this particular thing at that stuff which comes into picture for that matter, stuff which is there in the aspect of the um, stuff that keep in mind for that matter. Now, what happened in this stuff for that matter when you sort of like which are there in the aspect of it. So I introduced something here called unordered list, which I will represent right UL. All right, so whenever you're having a bulleted list, please start with OL. Inside that UL, you should have the first list item. So every item is represented by LI. So now let's get this thing. Okay, and will this list item ends over here. So LI, then look at the other list elements that you have here. So quickly, we'll do one more thing. We'll just have this thing, LI, you close this and tag LI element. Okay, then now, for example, close this. Again, here for that matter, you go representing with LI element over here. And you close this with LI element here for that matter, over here for this. Then one more point here, which comes. So you write here with an LI element over here and tag for LI element. So you have at that point of an LI element, close it. In an ideal world, I should be doing it a little much more professional manner, but I apologize if it is not looking nice. But the idea is that my students and my subscribers are able to understand what I'm putting it across. So LI. So this takes care about your bulleted list. So you see all the list items are represented with opening tag LI element. Once it is there, you need to also, don't forget, you need to close the bulleted list. So end tag UL, very important. Once it is done here, so bulleted like list, this particular thing is finished off there. Now what we can do is that let's say basic git flow. So we'll have an H2 for this element here, which I have written over here in the content aspect of it. I close the heading to element over here. And then another paragraph I have starting with the P element here. Stuff particular thing at that point, stuff which I write over here for the para element. Now it's important this, and I didn't do that. I should also close the paragraph element over here also, P element, and start off with, because I'm starting heading 2. So a paragraph will obviously come over here. Now, under the paragraph, you have a numbered list that you see 1, 2, 3, 4. So a numbered list is represented by OL or ordered list. Typically, when we are writing procedures for steps, we use 1, 2, 3, 4. So you start off with OL for bulleted, UL for 1, 2, 3, 4, OL. Then you have the list item, exactly how you have done this. So come here, create or clone a repository. Close this particular file over here, li, then come back here. Again, if you want to continue step 4 and step 5 together, then what you can also do is that you can club it together. Meaning, let's say, for example, and So we can clubbing it together. And so when you club it together, we can do it li like this. Though I should not do this, but I thought I'll, teach you. And if you think that you don't want to club it together and keep the steps separate, ideally, then what you can do is that keep the full stop over here, step, go back here. And before that, don't forget, close the li element. All right. And then the last step, one more item. That's okay. I guess you guys will understand. I'm doing it on the live. And then close it. I have a training session piled up now, so I thought I'll quickly do this. Don't get much time these days to do all this training and including my podcast. And I hope we are getting a chance to watch my podcast. We're meeting a lot of people from various walks of life. We are having people talk on AI. Dr. Drijesh Patel spoke about AI and cybersecurity. Then Balaji Jairaman spoke on the MCP and then how to choose the correct vendor tools, AI and all that stuff. We're recording another a podcast next week. So do let me know if you what you would like me, whom should I invite in my panel and all that. It will be great and useful for that matter. All right, so the on order list is done. And then sort of like at that point of a time, we have the paragraph. We close this. And then for that matter, the HTML program is closed. All right, fair enough. I think this should be good enough for us. I'm just going to save it. Now, the entire page has been transformed to an HTML kind of a thing for that. I should have. Now you come back over here and let's go to the file that I created. Remember this version control. Now my default browser is Firefox. Double click on it. And this is your HTML page of content. As you can see, I took this document here. So this is your version control. See the title that you had given. Remember version control. You open up the Word document over here. See, HTML is a markup language that is used to display the content on a web browser. So the title, content over here, heading 1, heading 2, the bulleted list, H heading 2, you can see all this thing. Not only that, if you right click on any of the web page, not only this one, you will get something called view page source. If you click on the page source, you will be able to give, this is non-editable though, you'll be able to see the tags that are all getting displayed over here, which is a, a nice way for you to know that what was the row content, where I have applied and all that stuff. So you can quickly do a check on that. So that was a small video on how you can transform plain text or raw content from Microsoft Word. Just to summarize, we picked up one page of content. We used Notepad++ editor. We applied the HTML syntax elements and all that. And I showed you how we can transform this to a web page. In the next video, we will do a little bit more that we'll work on tables. Hopefully you like this video. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you will do a little bit of practice. And once again, if you would like to get in touch with us for training or recruitment or consulting needs, please reach us on training@bluedotsconsultancy.com or visit our bluedotsconsultancy.com webpage. You will have the phone number. Well, I'll repeat it out. 9900171161. We will be most happy to help you and guide you. Once again, signing off now. Thank you for watching. Bye.